Paul Bear Bryant is one of the greatest coaches to ever live. Okay. Who was he? Paul Bear Bryant was a. This is now considered the second most winningest coach of all time. Played football growing up. Attended the University of Alabama as a defensive end, and after that, he moved to the military, and after that, he began his coaching career. His career started out as an assistant coach for multiple schools at Alabama, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Arkansas. He was also part of Pearl Harbor. He joined the military after Pearl Harbor and was assistant coach with George Pre-Flight Skycrackers, which is a college. Maryland, he was the head coach there during the year 1945 and had a record of 6-2-1, and was fifth in standings. Then he moved to Kentucky from 1946 to 1953. He had one conference title there. Left there with a record of 60-23-5. And a Sugar Bowl win, a Cotton Bowl win, and an Orange Bowl loss. Then he moved to Texas A&M from 1954 to 1957. There he had one conference title, a record of 25-14-2, and his only bowl game was a Gator Bowl that they lost. Then his dynasty began at Alabama from 1958 to 1982. His Alabama dynasty was one of the greatest football dynasties to ever be. With 6 national championships, a record of 232, 46-9, and only one losing season his entire time there, Paul Bear Bryant is known as the greatest Alabama head coach there ever was. Multiple conference titles, multiple national championships, and retired there as their most winning coach of all time. What made him a great leader? He had a keen instinct on what needed to be said and done. He knew what his players needed to hear, what his fellow coaches needed to hear, and he knew how to get things done when they needed to be done. He knew how to win games when they need to be, how they need to be won, and how to get his players prepared to win those games. And he never wanted to let reality take over. He never thought to himself that he couldn't do something. Paul Bear Bryant in his entire career had one losing season, and after that, never lost a season after that because of how great of a coach he was and how much of a mastermind he was to the game. He was a very authoritarian coach. It was his way or no other way. Many players left, many coaches left, but there was also dozens and dozens of players, coaches, and other greats that have been under him that have gone on to do amazing things and become some of the greatest players to ever live. And that's one way he was a great coach. He believed in preparation, dedication, and just plain old desire. He wanted to be prepared for anything. Whatever his opponents could throw at him, he knew how to stop it, and he knew what to do. He was always dedicated to his craft, and he wanted his players to be dedicated. If they weren't dedicated, he didn't want them. He wanted to make sure he had the most dedicated bunch, and that if you weren't willing to put in the work, then he didn't want you with him. And he had the plain old desire to win. Bear Bryant never wanted to lose a game. And a quote by him is, "It's not the will to win, but the will to be prepared to win that makes a difference." Without that will, you won't ever be great. And he had that at all times, and he wanted to instill that into all of his players and everyone that has been underneath him. Paul Bear Bryant is seen as the greatest coach to ever be a part of the game. He revolutionized the game. And there's one coach that's above him, and that's Nick Saban, who is the new Alabama dynasty leader. But without Paul Bear Bryant, there would never have been a Nick Saban, and without him, college football wouldn't be what it is today. Paul Bear Bryant is one of the greatest coaches to ever be, and without him, we couldn't. We can say goodbye to what we see now as modern football. He revolutionized it, and he made football what it is on a big scale. And everyone can always look up to him and say that is one of the greatest coaches that has ever been. Thank you.